Hello and welcome to HW News English. I am Shubham Chauhan. A new chapter began today in the complex political landscape of Maharashtra. Sunetra Pawar took oath as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. The swearing in happened just a short while back at the Raj Bhavan, the residence of the governor. In fact, we are standing outside the Raj Bhavan where leaders are now making their way out following this oath ceremony. She was administered the oath of office by Governor Acharya Devvrat. On the stage, you had the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, and Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. Now, Sunetra Pawar became the first female Deputy Chief Minister of the state of Maharashtra, and it has not come in the most pleasant of circumstances. The tone, tenor, context, and the environment inside Raj Bhavan was solemn, it was somber. This came just days after the unfortunate death of late Ajit Pawar, the chief of the Nationalist Congress Party. He died along with four others in a plane crash in Baramati on the 28th of January. And just a few days after his demise, you've had Sunetra Pawar, his wife, taking oath as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra.
मी सुनेत्रा अजित पवार गांभीर्यपूर्वक प्रतिज्ञा करते की कायद्याद्वारे स्थापित झाले आहे अशा भारताच्या संविधानाबद्दल मी खरी श्रद्धा व निष्ठा बाळगीन. मी भारताची सार्वभौमता व एकात्मता उन्नत राखीन. मी महाराष्ट्र राज्याची उपमुख्यमंत्री म्हणून माझी कामे निष्ठापूर्वक व ससद्विवेक बुद्धीने पार पाडेन आणि संविधान व कायदा यानुसार सर्व तऱ्हेच्या लोकांना मी गांभीर्यपणे व निपक्षपातीपणे तसेच कोणाच्याही विषयी ममत्वभाव किंवा आकस न बाळगता न्याय वागणूक देईन.
Now, as for the portfolios that Sunetra Pawar will be managing in the Devendra Fadnavis government, that is not clear at the moment because since she is part of the government, she'll have to have a portfolio besides the post of the Deputy Chief Minister. As for the existing portfolios, the portfolios that Ajit Pawar held, excise and sports is what we're given to understand that Sunetra Pawar will be handling for the moment. The big finance ministry, the all-important finance ministry is something that the Chief Minister will hold for the next few months at least, and we'll come to that in a few moments time to give you sort of an understanding on where does the government stand. Now, if you talk about who Sunetra Pawar really is, because until this point, not much was known about who Sunetra Pawar is and what her background is. She's a novice if you talk about mainstream politics and active electoral politics. So on that front, she is really inexperienced. She's never held a constitutional post throughout her life, and now she's straight becoming, and she's rather become, the Deputy Chief Minister of the state. She comes from a political background, though. She comes from a political family. Her father was a known politician in Dharashiv district. Her brother, Padma Singh Patil, was a tall Congress leader. He's been a multiple-term minister, and he was someone who was known across the state of Maharashtra. So she comes from that political background, and she married to Ajit Pawar, and she, of course, became a part of the big Pawar family, the big political Pawar family, as it were. On the electoral front, she unsuccessfully contested the Lok Sabha elections in 2024 against Supriya Sule, Ajit Pawar's cousin sister. She, of course, lost that election by a huge margin. It was the Pawar versus Pawar face-off where she lost. Then, subsequently, a few months later, she was sent to the Rajya Sabha from the Nationalist Congress Party. And if you talk about her involvement in Baramati, which is the home turf of the Pawar, the constituency that Ajit Pawar represented, she is known to have played a critical role on ground through her NGOs and through a lot of social work in Baramati Taluka, so be it on the environment front, on cleanliness, on education. She's known to have worked on those fronts, not as an NCP leader per se, but a sort of a leader in her own right who's working in the social service space. So that is what, that is where she was. And now here today on the 31st of January, she's become the Deputy Chief Minister of the state. Now, ever since the unfortunate demise of Ajit Pawar, the question lingered on as to who will succeed the late NCP chief. His wife was, of course, a front runner in that case, and she really was the name that no one could really oppose, and it was a matter of time that her name is formally zeroed down on as the successor to Ajit Pawar, because remember, she brings continuity, Because remember, Sunetra Pawar brings continuity to the NCP camp. She brings, of course, the Pawar surname. And that is something that is important if you look at it in the context of the NCP. Because here's a party that has 40 MLAs. So to keep that flock together, one couldn't really look beyond Sunetra Pawar. Unfortunately, it was a tragedy that brought Sunetra Pawar to the forefront. And here she is as the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra. Now, ever since the demise, the unfortunate death of Ajit Pawar, it has created a vacuum that really no one individual can fill. He's a man who wore many hats. He was an experienced politician. He was an influential politician, and he was someone who's known to have a strong ground connect. With Ajit Pawar suddenly gone, there's a big vacuum that came into being as far as Maharashtra politics and the NCP's own politics. Like I said, he was a man who wore many hats. So, for starters, he was the chief of the legislature party, which is the group of 40 MLAs of NCP. He was the leader of that. He was the party president of the NCP. He was the deputy chief minister of the state. He was the finance minister. He was also the sports minister. He was also the guardian minister of Pune and Beed district. So, he was someone who had a lot to. He was someone who really had a lot on his hands on the government, on the administration front, and on the political front. And today, we got answers to two of those questions as to who succeeds him, who becomes the next CLP leader. Earlier today, Sunetra Pawar, of course, was picked as the chief of the legislature party as far as the NCP is concerned in the state assembly. There was a meeting of all the MLAs, MLCs of the NCP in Vidhan Bhavan that was held. There it was declared unanimously that it will be Sunetra Pawar who will be the CLP leader of the NCP. Now, if you look at the technicalities of it, Sunetra Pawar is currently a Rajya Sabha MP. And now, since she is the DCM, she cannot continue as Rajya Sabha MP. So that means she will have to resign. And what we are given to understand at this point is that her son, her elder son, Parth Pawar, could be made a Rajya Sabha MP from the seat that will be vacated following Sunetra Pawar's resignation. And since she is now a minister, in the government, she'll have to be either an MLA or an MLC in the next 6 months. By all means, in all likelihood, she'll be the MLA from Baramati constituency, the seat that Ajit Pawar represented, and that will happen unopposed, because that's been the tradition in Maharashtra. When a seat falls vacant due to the death of a leader, the seat really is unopposed, and the seat either goes to the wife or a son, whoever it may be. In this case, if it will of course be Sunetra Pawar. Earlier today, she was declared as the CLP leader. And as for the portfolio, something that we told you just in the introduction bit, for now, what we are given to understand is that Devendra Fadnavis, the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, will handle the finance department, at least for the immediate future. Because on the 6th and 7th of March, around that time, you have the budget of Maharashtra that will have to be tabled. Ajit Pawar, as finance minister, could have made a record by tabling that budget. Of course, now that can't happen. And it will be Devendra Fadnavis. The chief minister, of course, in a statement last night said that while Ajit Pawar had done extensive work on the budget front to prepare that, and since he was the finance minister, he said today onwards he will take charge and get his eye around as to what has been happening really. And in all possibility, it will be Devendra Fadnavis who will table the next budget of Maharashtra that is scheduled sometime in March. And as for the other two portfolios that Ajit Pawar held, that is of sports and excise, that is something that is believed to be going to Sunetra Pawar at the moment. So that is where the government the picture of the Mahayuti lies. But again, the big picture that has come out from this swearing-in ceremony, and a question that has come up ever since the unfortunate death of Ajit Pawar, has been on the political front of the NCP. What happens to the NCP? There were talks of a merger. Where does that merger stand now with Ajit Pawar completely out of the picture? And where does the politics of NCP stand? But the first thing that has really drawn a lot of attention is the speed at which this entire process has happened over the course of the last 96 odd hours. So on the 28th of January morning, Ajit Pawar died in a plane crash along with 4 others. People were really not ready to believe this news for the first few hours initially, that Ajit Pawar is no more. On the 29th of January, the funeral of Ajit Pawar took place in Baramati. He was cremated with full state honors, with his sons Jay and Parth lighting the funeral pyre. On 30th, there were a series of meetings that NCP leaders, top NCP leaders of the Ajit Pawar faction had with the Chief Minister of Maharashtra at Varsha, his official residence in Mumbai. And on the night of the 30th of January, that is yesterday, you had the official confirmation sort of come in that it will be Sunetra Pawar who has accepted the proposal to be the Deputy Chief Minister, and she will be taking oath today on the 31st. So in the last 3 days, really, the picture has completely changed. And many were guessing that you will not have an answer to that question, the DCM question, so soon, because the state is in mourning. The state mourning, in fact, for Ajit Pawar, it was a 3-day state mourning that ended just yesterday. And given the grief that has really surrounded Maharashtra ever since this news came to light, many had in fact ruled out the possibility that we could get an answer soon. But that really has been sorted and answered once and for all in 3 flat days, 4 days in fact, that Sunetra Pawar has succeeded. She's taken the oath as a deputy CM. She is as the face of the NCP. So that speed is something that many have been questioning about, as to who was showing this desperation, who was in a hurry to fill that gap in the government. Was it the likes of Sunil Tatkare, Praful Patel, Chhagan Bhujbal, or was there pressure from some other end? One doesn't know really for sure. But that is something that where the picture stands at the moment. In 4 days, like they say, the show must go on. And with that, you had Sunetra Pawar taking the oath. Which brings us to the big question of the merger of the NCP. Something that was in the making for the past few weeks. By now, it is absolutely crystal clear that discussions were at a very advanced stage as far as the merger of the NCP of Sharad Pawar and the NCP of Ajit Pawar is concerned. It was almost a done deal. And you've had leaders, particularly from the NCP Sharad Pawar faction, who've gone on record over the last 2 days and said that the deal was almost done. Most of the technicalities and formalities were chalked out, agreed upon, and it was just a matter of a formal announcement that could have been made in the second week of February. That, of course, with Ajit Pawar's death, is really threw a spanner in the works as far as the question of the NCP merger is concerned. And what made the picture really complex today, or added to the twist in the story, was this statement from Sharad Pawar, where he held a press conference in Baramati early this morning, and he said that he had no clue that Sunetra Pawar is going to be the Deputy Chief Minister, that she will take oath as the Deputy Chief Minister. Listen in to what Sharad Pawar had to say.
सुनेत्रा पवार शपथ लेने वाली है, क्या आपको इस बात की जानकारी है?
नहीं, तय किया होगा तो उनसे पार्टी ने तय किया होगा। और जो अखबार में आया है, इसे लगता है कि पार्टी ने कुछ तय किया है, क्योंकि कुछ लोगों का नाम आया है, जैसे प्रफुल्ल पटेल, जैसे तस्करे, जो उन्होंने इनिशिएटिव लिया है। चलिए, इनसे पार्टी ने इंटरनल कुछ न कुछ तय किया होगा।
So with Sharad Pawar really saying that he had no clue about this happening, there's again a murmur as to where does the merger talk stand. Is it on the back burner, or will the merger still go through? Or because of this latest oath of Sunetra Pawar as Deputy CM, what has it really done on the merger talks front? Because you've had leaders like Anil Deshmukh, you've had leaders like Rajesh Tope, you've had leaders from the Sharad Pawar camp say that this was Ajit Pawar's last wish. He wanted the merger to happen, and that merger must go through. But with this oath ceremony, where does that picture stand? And what added sort of more concrete gravitas to those talks of the merger was this video that you are seeing on your screen. It's of 17th January. This video became public this morning. 17th January, the location was Govind Bagh, which is the bungalow of Sharad Pawar in Baramati. There you can see a meeting of Sharad Pawar, Jayant Patil, senior leader, Shashikant Shinde, state chief of the Sharad Pawar faction, Ajit Pawar is there, Amol Kole, MP of Sharad Pawar's faction, he is there, Rohit Pawar is there, everybody is there. And this is the meeting that is believed to have been among the last meetings that were based on the merger of the NCP. Now, if you notice one thing closely, all of the leaders sitting there were from the Sharad Pawar faction. And from the Ajit Pawar side, you just, of course, had the man himself. You just had Ajit Pawar, who was driving these talks of the merger of the two factions. which is of course leading everyone to ask the question that where does the Ajit Pawar faction stand on this issue? At the moment, what we are told is that there is a section in the NCP of Ajit Pawar that is not really in favor of the merger, or in other words, they are more inclined towards the BJP. That is the picture of one section of the NCP. The other section, you have had leaders, of course, like Narhari Jirwad, who is known to be a close aide of Ajit Pawar. He's come out vocally and said that while, yes, there is full support to Sunetra Pawar for DCM, there shouldn't be any more delay on the merger front, that the two parties should go ahead and the two NCP should go ahead and merge. So that is really the picture, and one will have to really wait and see as to where does the merger talk stand post this unfortunate and unforeseen demise of Ajit Pawar. In fact, what is also adding some more twist and some more drama and suspense to this entire story is there was a meeting of the Pawar family at large that was supposed to be held in Baramati. So from Sharad Pawar, Supriya Sule, Sunetra Pawar, Parth Pawar, Jay Pawar, Rohit Pawar, the entire Pawar family really was expected to have, or rather expected to have a meeting at Baramati. That meeting, what we are told right now, did not happen. And just a few hours later, towards late night, you had Sunetra Pawar leaving for Mumbai from Baramati for this swearing in ceremony. And that is really sort of leading to more question as to, is there a section in the NCP of Ajit Pawar that is now pushing to reaffirm and reassert their own separate existence, that they do not want to tie up with the NCP of Sharad Pawar? Because if the two NCPs merge, who leads that NCP? Will a Praful Patel, Sunil Tatkare, or a Chhagan Bhujbal, or even a Sunetra Pawar for that matter, be okay working with the other side, which is you have the likes of Supriya Sule, a more experienced leader, Shashikant Shinde, Anil Deshmukh, Jayant Patil? Will those two sides be able to put aside all their differences? Because till the time you had Ajit Pawar, once Ajit Pawar made that call, there was no going back. And that could have been worked out had Ajit Pawar been alive, but now he's not there. That is again leading to the question, because the whole point of the Ajit Pawar split in 2023, the reasoning that many gave is that they were not okay working under some of the leaders that Sharad Pawar has groomed around them. And a merger would have meant that their bargaining power, the Ajit Pawar's bargaining power, particularly of leaders like Praful Patel and the others, would have significantly reduced. The dynamics would have completely changed for sure. And that is something that where the picture stands at the moment. If our sources are to go by, there's another theory being floated that this entire scenes that we saw play out, including the oath of Sunetra Pawar, was done with Sharad Pawar's agreement, and the merger will go through for sure in the next few days. Now, where does the picture... So the picture really is fluid at the moment here in Maharashtra. Anything can happen. It's a cliche that Maharashtra is so used to over the last few years, but we'll wait and watch how this picture plays out. But for now, Sunetra Pawar is the Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, stepping into the shoes